Boom. We are live. Welcome to our Friday Hospitality MD live stream. And for the first, well, let's say second time, because yesterday was a test run, but for the first official episode, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So for those joining us from all platforms, welcome. We are so glad to have you. Before we get started with the meat and potatoes of today's live stream, please be sure to show some love to help make sure that our video gets spread to more and more people. So comment, let us know where you're watching from, let us know what hotel you're from, like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Doing so helps us ensure that our message of hospitality is everyone's business gets shared with the world. And Greg, I'm so sorry, man. It was a little rude of me. I didn't even say hello to you. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Sorry, I'm sharing our videos out on social media anyway, so you can ignore me all you want. It's fine.
Yeah, just behind the scenes in action, peeling back the curtain. This is what happens behind the scenes. So thanks again for those who were able to catch us yesterday. We did a little bit of a test drive here, and you kind of heard me ramble a little bit, but we did get some friendly faces stop by and say hello. So thank you if you're listening again. So today we're going to be doing something similar to what we did last week, which is a reaction video. So Greg has procured a video that I have never seen before. I actually genuinely have no idea what we're about to watch, but what I've been told is that it is 17 hotel staff secrets you'll want to know by a YouTube channel called Bestie. And Greg, is Bestie a hospitality channel? Is it run by hoteliers? What do you think?
No, I don't. Excuse me. I didn't really look into the channel, but I think it's just one of those channels that put stuff out for views. But they did some studies according to like other sites that I want to check out later. But it should be interesting. Some of it's gonna shock you.
Okay. Well, I can't wait. I hope you guys can't wait. So without further ado, let's get to today's reaction video.
Oh, well, first we got a couple messages there. Lisa over on YouTube, hello. And Jesus and Facebook, I think he's overseas right now checking us out. So what's up, buddy?
Nice to see you, man. Thank you for your service. Mom, you're embarrassing me. Just kidding. I love you. Thank you all for stopping in. So yeah, let's get to this reaction video, guys.
All right, give me a second here. Pull it up, and we will get started.
"17 hotel staff secrets you'll want to know." When you're booking a vacation, finding a cheap deal can be pretty stressful. You're not just looking for a cheap way of getting there. Ideally, you're looking for a decent priced flight and hotel. At the same time, you want top quality. Researching all this information takes hours, and going through a travel agent just doesn't cut it anymore. But eventually, you end up finding a flight, and now you start looking for hotels. The stress continues, but we have something that'll help you in your quest. To really prep yourself before you go on your next trip, here are some tricks that'll help you save money and give you a great vacation. But first, click subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Number 1. Prices change. The prices for hotels change on a day-to-day basis. Depending on the season, you can get an amazing hotel for a great price. That's why it's better to book a room as last minute as possible. Because if you do it too in advance, the price may be too high.
Stop.
Number 2.
That's not how revenue management works. It can't be simplified to like that. First of all, I love the B-roll, the stock footage that they're using of just like people stressed out on the computer. Is that really how stressful it is to book a vacation in 2020, 2021? when you can literally
for some people it might be.
Do it. I mean, you know what? You're right. It may be, because especially if you have kids and family. Luckily, I haven't had that experience. Just tell my mom I'm going somewhere, get that free flight from United Airlines, and then get on the Hilton Honors app and book my employee discount. But no, it's different for everybody. But again, it's like, okay, book as last minute as possible. First of all, talk about stress. You're showing footage of people who are stressed out. Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily always feasible, and that's not always how revenue management works. Like, your rate fluctuates, and that doesn't mean that it's going to go down last minute. That could mean that it skyrockets, because the what do they say? The hotel to sell out first loses. So if you're booking last minute and it's busy, then you are going to be paying the highest price in terms of the principles of basic revenue management. If it's busy,
yeah.
If it's not busy, then the rate's probably just going to be the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not really like, it's, if the value of the room in a slow time is only 109, and that was 2 weeks ago, and then it's the same day, it's not going to be $79 just because they feel like they just want to get rid of it.
Well, I think they were saying more like, don't book months in advance, wait a little, so we're closer. Because I've seen it where we've been at hotels where the rate does drop, but you just really need to know what's going on in where you're going, right? If you know it's going to be a busy time of the year, conventions are in town, you can easily look that stuff up. Then yeah, the rates are going to go higher the closer you get. So you need to get in there as soon as possible.
Right. And I think that's maybe just a little bit misleading, because you say wait till the last minute. Well, maybe wait till the last minute to actually press book, to actually reserve it, but be aware of what's going on in the area. As like Paula is just saying, and hello, Paula, nice to see you. She says last minute in Rio in busy times is not a good deal. And that echoes the pricing principles of every area when it gets busy. Now, if you want to come to Chicago, for example, or in the middle of February, be my guest, talk about off season, but are you really going to enjoy yourself? So that's kind of another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I guess oversimplifying revenue management for people who are just trying to book a vacation, not the best idea. But let's keep going and see what else they have to say.
All right, sounds good. And I'm gonna, after each one, I'll stop, so you don't have to yell it out at me.
Okay, cool.
All right, 1 second.
2. Changing your room. If you don't like the room you were given, you can change it for free. You can simply talk to the staff. For example, if you don't like the room for subjective reasons, such as not liking the floor the room is located, you can ask to change the room. They shouldn't charge you for it.
They're not wrong. Like, that's actually a very, like, I guess, like, I don't even really know what to say about that, because it's just so basic.
Yeah.
I can't get over and that's like what Chris is saying, reminds me of an infomercial where they over dramatize everything. I love what they're doing with the stock footage of somebody rolling up to the front desk. If you want to change your room, just ask the staff. Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, keeping in mind the nuances of room type and geography of a hotel that can't be changed. Like if you are looking for a single king room in a corner that's on the top floor that is, with a certain bathtub that you want, like maybe that doesn't exist. But I think it's fair to say that hotel staff should be going out of their way to accommodate your requests for subjective reasons. So yeah, that's good.
Definitely. All right.
Number 3, hotel ratings. Choose a hotel based on its rating, rather than simply looking for the number of stars it has. We live in a time where we can write and read reviews to get a better idea. We totally get that different people have different tastes, but sometimes a 3-star hotel can get a better comment than a 5-star hotel.
Yes.
I kind of agree. I actually think that's good advice. Is just because it has a number of stars doesn't mean that it's a better hotel than some one with lower stars, right? Different experiences, different hotels.
But doesn't it though? Like,
it
Forbes
should
comes to your hotel and says you meet all the requirements to be in an exclusive elite club of Forbes 5-star or even Forbes 4-star, which is very difficult to get.
But is Forbes rating all these hotels, or do hotels rate themselves?
Well, I think it just all depends. Like, if you're a Holiday Inn, for example, Forbes ain't coming to your hotel, and you're probably gonna, if you're a full service Holiday Inn, you're gonna get a 3-star, just like on your Google or whatever you say 3-star hotel.
Right. But what if it's a really nice Holiday Inn and they provide amazing service and very clean rooms, and the 4-star hotel down the street, slacks because they have terrible leadership?
I agree with that. Obviously, individualized service matters. The way that properties operate on an individual basis matters. The leadership at the property matters and can all influence service, and reviews certainly matter and things like that. I just, when it comes to the sentiment, stars do not necessarily equal the quality of the hotel. Well, I think it depends on, are they coming from just a self-rated Google stars, or is it coming from an organization like Forbes, for example, which they would have vetted those things for you for the most part, to kind of give you that peace of mind. Because I kind of feel like if you're going to a Forbes 5-star hotel, you're going to be you should have a pretty damn good experience if they really rated it. And if you don't, they'll probably take it away soon. But yeah, I think agree and disagree on that.
But at the same time, if it is Forbes 5-star rated, their review should be really good as well. So you should be in good company.
Say that again?
The review should be good as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there shouldn't be a disconnect between to disconnect between stars and review. I certainly agree with that. And sometimes you can see the opposite at especially because guests book where they want to book. Like if you're booking a 2 or 3-star hotel, that's what you're doing for the most part. That's something that is going to be right for you, whether that's in terms of pricing, in terms of amenities, etc. So if you know what you're booking, it's easy to be blown away, and it's also easy to be disappointed. So yeah, definitely reviews do matter in this situation.
Yeah, Jesus said it could be like ILR, where it's a horrible property, but the staff made it seem like a 4-star hotel. It's about the experience during their stay.
Yeah, absolutely. Best service scores in half a decade, but who's keeping track?
Not me. Next.
Number 4, taking stuff from the hotel. Don't feel guilty if you decide to take some souvenirs after you stay in a hotel. You're allowed to take the shampoo, shower gel, and the cosmetic products.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I just...
You're allowed to do it.
I'm glad they were specific, because if they just left it, yeah, you can take stuff from the hotel and move on, I'd be like, no, don't. I mean, yeah, it's a cost of business, sometimes losing stuff, but you don't just want people to flat out just think they can go in and take your pillows and sheets and shit and stuff like that,
Right. Like toiletry items that are standard in a room, like bars of soap. Like people collect that stuff. Like it's actually it's just a novelty for a lot of people, and it's like a souvenir almost. And yeah, take those things.
Yeah.
Because unless you don't use it at all, it's gonna get it's going to get thrown away anyway, or it's going to be recycled. I can't remember what that program was, where they had the bars of soap in big plastic bins and recycling the soap basically. But yeah, take that stuff. But please do not take linens and towels
and TVs.
TVs. Yeah. right? Like as if a TV nowadays, like maybe 15 years ago, you'd be inclined to take the TV, or maybe even more than that. But now,
And those TVs were heavy back then. I got one from the WIT after they changed them out, and man, they weigh a ton compared to the flat screen TVs today. So I can only imagine trying to carry those things out without anybody noticing you.
you know, you can put it on the bell cart and then drape one of the linens that you stole over it as well to hide it from everybody. But no, yeah, that's good. You know, take the toiletries. I actually encourage that. If that makes you feel good, makes you feel like a souvenir. You know, I think what was the brand? Can't remember them, like one of my favorite brands, but I've been known to take a few of those before myself. So yeah, it's a good practice.
Self-incriminating. All right, next.
Number 5. The Golden Keys. Become friendly with the concierge with the Golden Keys pin. Not only can they get you tickets to concerts and organized tours, they're there to ensure that you have the best room experience possible. If you don't like your room, you can always check with the concierge.
Yeah. I mean, you can always check with the concierge. You can make friends with them. Like, I just don't see how this is like a secret that nobody wants you to know. You know what I mean? Like, is that like a big groundbreaking secret? Also, they didn't attempt to pronounce the name of
That's my
the
first
organization.
thought.
Say what?
That was my first thought watching this. I'm like, you just call it Golden Keys? You can't even try
Right,
to
like
say it?
try it. Let's even mispronounce it. And for those who maybe don't know, Lake Claydor, and I did not know that until we interviewed Sarah Dandashi. Well, I think I did, but I mispronounced it because I worked with a few Lake Claydors, but they weren't as active as Sarah was for sure. But yeah, so yeah, talk to the concierge. They're great. Big groundbreaking secret, I guess, that we don't want you to know about.
Well, Chris just said, secret, talk to the guy whose job it is to specifically help you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Groundbreaking.
All right.
Number 6. Discounted rooms. Booking discounted rooms directly with the hotel is smart. Hotels want to sell as many rooms as possible on a regular basis. Therefore, they pay a fee to various sites so they can offer certain rooms. And you don't get the best room at a discount. By calling the hotel directly, they'll most likely meet your request. Number 6.
I think that was a good but also weird way. Like they said, like they pay fees to sites to offer certain rooms. That's not true.
I think they are. They mean more of the OTAs. I think that's what they're trying to reference there.
Yeah, I just don't like the way they worded that.
No.
That they pay fees to sites to offer certain rooms. No, their inventory is available to book via that site, and they don't pay anything unless somebody books it via that platform, unless you're advertising or anything like that.
Yeah, and I've never been a fan of the suggestion of calling the hotel to get, to get a discount, because depending on the hotel, if you have a strict revenue management policies in place, you can't be flexible that way. We experienced that when we were downtown, where we were always busy, so we didn't have the luxury of saying, yeah, we can go ahead and just give you a discount. Not like when we were at, let's say, in Bloomingdale, where we had plenty of room, so we're happy to get a room in.
Well, and I think that's really what it is. Know the hotel that, like, that tip is actually great. Like, I don't disagree with it, because I actually think that a lot of places, rather than paying 20 to 30% OTA commission, would actually be happy to just offer you a few dollars off the room to make you feel like you're getting a discount, to give you, that, and you feel good. You deal with the hotel directly. There's no headache of dealing with the OTAs. You don't have to, number one, pay the commissions, but you also don't have to reconcile with that room at the end of the month and all that other stuff. It's just easier. But I think that's more so like your, mid-scale, maybe upper mid-scale properties, second and third tier markets, maybe even suburban or roadside kind of hotels and motels, that sort of thing. I wouldn't necessarily say call your big box flagship convention hotel during a period of peak compression and say, hey, this video told me to call and negotiate my room, because you're just not going to get it.
Right.
But I think it doesn't hurt to try. That's for sure. Also, another point, most brands have rate parity, which means that you should never be finding a cheaper rate on an OTA. So I think another thing like maybe that hoteliers could do is incentivize people to book direct. You may not have to get them a monetary discount on their room, but throw them a bone and incentivize them to book direct, because those cost savings are, going to be passed right on to you, even if the guest is paying the same price via the OTA or direct. So, obviously take down the OTAs, because they're killing us right now.
All right, moving on.
7. Hotel photos. Photos of hotel rooms can be deceiving. That's why it's best that while reading reviews about the hotel, to check out the photos that people who stayed there post. It will be more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, great. I love that idea.
Yeah, and that was pretty straightforward, pretty simple.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Number 8. Mini bars. The mini bar is definitely something you should check. The people staying before you could have drank and poured tap water into the bottle instead. Number 9.
It's possible. It really is possible. And it just depends on like, is it a manual operation, or is it an automated mini bar system? That's going to be a difference. Like if you are staying at a hotel that still has like old school mini bar attendants, then yeah, you might be seeing some tap water in there to try and get away with it, because they manually do the inventory. But if it's like a automated weighted mini bar system, then you're not getting away with it, because you remove it and they can tinker with the settings to see like however many seconds it was removed, your room gets hit with a charge. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was so much to advertise putting tap water in to not have to pay for it, or if that was an advertisement to make sure that you don't get charged because of someone else's tap water. Maybe a little bit of both, but I don't recommend it if your hotel even still has a mini bar in 2021.
And one thing to add to that is don't ever put your leftovers in a mini bar. Like regardless of it's the staff that checks it, and you take everything out to put your stuff in there, or it's automated, you put that in there, you're gonna get charged for something that you probably didn't take. So just don't do it. Ask for a fridge, and if they don't have a fridge, then you did do your research in the hotel that you're trying to stay at that you needed a fridge for.
That's a good point. Also, mini bars do not typically, if it's a true mini bar, it shouldn't get as cold as a fridge would get.
No.
So that could be another thing. Like your leftovers could actually go bad. So like, don't do that.
They will, because I think they only go down to like mid 40s. Like it's not even cold at all.
For all of our certified food service safety people out there, that would be, I think, considered the danger zone. Yeah. So don't put your leftovers in there.
Definitely. All right.
On-site parking. Make sure you read the contract thoroughly before leaving your car on-site at a hotel. Usually, the contract states that the hotel is not responsible for cars parked on the site.
Yeah.
That's any parking you go to, any valet, any parking garage. They all have those signs saying they're not liable. So it's not a money-saving tip to stay at a hotel.
Like if you're gonna drive, just be prepared to park your car in a lot. If it's a hotel with a lot, then somebody could damage your car or break into your car. Like that could very well happen. and the hotel really won't be able to do much other than direct you to the local police department. And hopefully, if that happened, they would provide you as much hospitality and empathy as possible. Because I've been places where, a guest comes back to the hotel after checking out and says that the car that they parked on the street got broken into. And it sucks. And, especially like the one that I can think of, they had a baby with them and they had all their luggage and their car got broken into. And it was just a terrible situation. So I think you should be able to expect some basic not basic, but hopefully above and beyond hospitality from the hotel if that happens, but not compensation, not accepting liability, just help getting your life sorted out in the meantime.
All right.
Number 10, canceling. Things come up, and you need a way to cancel a reservation without paying a cent for it. Well, there's a perfect solution for that. Instead of canceling the reservation immediately, ask to move it ahead a week. Then the next day, simply call the hotel again and cancel it. You won't pay anything for your cancellation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's try it. I really do. Just try it. I don't care. Like if that's what you want to do, go ahead and try it. A lot of places do keep track of those sort of things. A lot of places are going to have just the same person pick up the phone and answer it. I don't want to be one of those people who just like spills the beans, but if you talk to like a centralized reservation center, they're not going to know any different, and they're going to take care of it for you more than likely.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with that more times than not at the vast majority of properties. So all the power to you.
The trick won't work if you do a prepaid reservation or an OTA reservation.
Great point. Book direct,
but don't prepay because that makes it more difficult. You can't move those.
Right. Yeah. Like only prepay for your reservation if you know that there is absolutely no way that you're missing that reservation. And honestly, I would never prepay for a reservation when you have the option not to, especially when the clause is that the prepaid reservation is non-refundable under really any circumstances that aren't extreme. So, obviously you could try and negotiate, but that would require a lot of stress and anxiety, or you could literally pay like $4 more on your rate and have more flexibility. But I'm interested to see how this plays out in the future. One of our recent interviews with Ken Patel, CEO of EV Hotel Group, talks about the future of hotel management. And, he let us know that there might be the future where the airline booking model is applied to hotels, meaning that you would have to prepay, and if you need to cancel within that time frame, you get your money back, but meaning you have to have the money available and it gets taken out immediately upon booking. That's a long way out before it comes industry standard, but something to keep an eye out for.
Definitely.
Oh, and Scott says we treat changes and cancellations the same way. So, right, that's another good point too. I think because the contract for most of these does actually say no changes or cancellations, but I feel like in application, like let's take Scott's example, right? We treat changes and cancellations the same way. Greg and I have worked at a hotel where that was the policy as well. I do think that we would be in the minority of hotels that enforce that. Because I think most people, they don't necessarily consider the change. A lot of times they just kind of do it anyway. So I think if you come at it through the lens of changing the reservation, you have more success, obviously, than if you were just to outright cancel it. But Scott, that's a great point that I totally forgot about, which is typically the contract applies within that window where it's you basically would be subject to penalties for modifying or canceling your reservation. Great point. Thanks for bringing that up. And yes, book direct. So we got to do.
All right, and I apologize in advance. We're gonna have to deal with 5 seconds of a commercial, so I skip it.
A little girl who walked by pointed at me and said, "Ooh, mommy, look, there's a girl one."
Number 11, you might get walked. Unless you're a dog, then we can assure you this term isn't going to be fun. Keep in mind that because cancellation rates are pretty high, about 10% of people cancel their reservations with hotels daily. Then these places to stay tend to overbook. And what happens is if they're overbooked and you show up intending to stay there, you get walked, which means the hotel will now pay for the entire night's room and tax at another comparable hotel in the area. Pretty lame, but not the worst thing in the world, we guess. But how do you know if you're getting walked? Well, Mental Floss has a good, prepared list of reasons for us. A guest is more likely to get walked if, number 1, he booked using Expedia. Hence, he has a deeply discounted rate and is less important. Number 2, he never stayed here before and may never visit the city again. Number 3, he's a one-nighter. Number 4, and this one is so much more important than the others, he's acting like a jerk. So don't be a jerk, and you won't have to move hotels. Simple as that.
I was really like, this is a well put together list up until, the last one. You're not going to get walked simply because you're a jerk. Like, nobody wants to walk you. Everybody wants to see you stay. If like there's no reality where you show up to the hotel and you are a little rude and then they say, you know what, we're going to pay for you to stay at another hotel. This is your punishment. You're getting a free room somewhere else. We're not dealing with you. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, in most cases, the staff already knows in advance who they're before you even meet them, right? You start planning that out of potential people that you could walk based on some of the other facts, like one-nighters. Yeah, Expedia, because they don't necessarily pay cheaper rates. I wouldn't consider them less important.
Right.
Like they're paying full rate. We get a little bit of they get a little bit of discount on our end. Expedia does, but I wouldn't consider them less important.
They're actually not less important. I hate that kind of. It's almost like a kind of misinformation, if you will, because and speaking pre-COVID, sometimes the third-party OTAs are bringing you a third of your business. Like, they're not less important. Like, that distribution is huge, and OTAs are a huge part of hotels' business. And when the revenue was great, obviously we were upset about the OTA commissions. It was all book direct, stop clicking around. But that doesn't mean that they're any less important. They still make up a huge part of our revenue. One-nighters depends on where you're at. Some hotels have the mentality that don't walk one-nighters. And that's usually coming from executive leadership who's not actually walking the people or not planning it, but they say don't walk one-nighters because they want them to be able to return to the hotel the following day for the second night of their reservation and be wowed with an upgrade, amenity, note from the GM, getting greeted by the director of sales or whatever the case might be. But if
our GM didn't give any notes.
Well, yeah, but
that's a different subject.
We're not holding anybody to that standard. Well, at least not him. He's hopeless. But anyway, but yeah, so I guess if you are, a two-nighter and you get walked, chances are you're coming back to the hotel the next night as well. So depending on who you are, that could be a good or a bad thing. But I think for most people who are doing it, you're going to want to get one-nighter. So you just kind of get them, I hate to say it, but just get them out and kind of get it over with. It's never a fun situation for anyone.
No, definitely not. And if you are getting walked, I mean, as frustrating as it is, just try to look at the bright side. You're getting a free room, free transportation, and who knows? Depending on the hotel, I remember when I was at O'Hare, we barely walked anybody, but when we did, I think we either sent them a certificate or gave them points, on top of it too, like a little extra concession. So you might get something out of it depending on the property.
Well, and especially like for business travelers who they don't care about the rate because they're not paying for it anyway, you really should do something nice for them. Because it's a courtesy. Like, it sucks. And especially when unless you're like wildly oversold and you start pre-walking kind of in the middle of the day and you are like doing all this stuff in advance, a lot of times you're really just waiting for those last minute arrivals, hoping they don't show up. It could be, 11, 12, 1 in the morning when the sellout is finally being finalized, and nobody wants to show up after finally arriving at their destination to be told you're going somewhere else, especially in a place they're unfamiliar with. That would be a different level of stress. So as always, apply a little empathy.
Definitely. All right.
Number 12, complain right. So you're in a hotel, you manage to avoid getting walked. But there's a problem. Any problem, doesn't matter really. The point is what you do at that point. Call the front desk and complain loudly, brutally, and wickedly, right? Well, you're half right. What you should do is call the front desk calmly and ask them the right questions. Describe to them your situation, then ask who to call to handle it. While most of the time the front desk will be able to help you, if you give suggestions, it might make their job much easier. Also, if you want to make sure they're listening and will give you the best solution, get their name. Nothing makes an employee more attentive than calling them directly by name.
I don't really disagree with that at all, actually. I think that was one of the more well-said points.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they, instead of titling it "Complain Right," maybe "Complain Correctly." But besides that, that's just me being picky. I think the actual advice it's good, and especially the give suggestions, because everybody wants something differently, right? And then if you're looking for something specific based on your issue, and we're not providing it because we're giving blanket suggestions of, oh, here's some free breakfast or here's some points, and it's frustrating you, like, then let us know what you're looking for, and we'll most likely be happy to give that to you.
I agree. Yeah, just communicate openly, communicate what you want. Obviously, I think that if you're working at the front desk and somebody's complaining to you, there's a level of finesse, diplomacy, et cetera, that goes into resolving it. But you really can't expect that from everybody, truly, at every hotel you go to, because, it takes a while to get used to listening and resolving complaints. It's an art and a science that takes practice, and you never know who you're going to get. A lot of people can give great service, but they shut down when they start getting complained to because it's anxiety inducing for the employee. So by asking the right questions, seeing who they can talk to help, not assuming that it's just them, even though most of the time it will be, and just be nice and communicate what you want, and we'll be empathetic to you. I think when you take a situation that's already anxiety inducing for an associate, just somebody telling you that something's wrong, even if they're nice, it's still going to give a little anxiety to that person. But then you start being mean and you might, yell at that person. That person is more than likely going to shut down, and it's going to waste your time. You're going to drain your energy, and it's not going to work out for you. So I love this advice.
Yeah, you and Scott just said, we really want to help and make your stay great, especially if you're polite. So when you got to complain,
it really does help.
It doesn't help if you call us and start blowing up on the phone. If you're polite about it, it makes everybody's job easier, in that the guests and ours. So.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And Scott, thank you for that contribution.
Number 13, better rooms. We know that if you want a room upgrade, you just need to ask. But what if they insist that there's nothing better for you? Well, Mental Floss has a bit of first-hand experience with that. They say that here is one of the top lies that comes out of a front desk agent's mouth. All the rooms are basically the same, sir. Bull. There's always a corner room, a room with a bigger flat screen, a room that, because of the building's layout, has a larger bath with 2 sinks, a room that fits the 2 rollaways with ease, a room that, though listed as standard, actually has a partial view of the Hudson River. There is always a better room. And when I feel that 20 you slipped me burning in my pocket, I'll find it for you. And if there's nothing to be done room-wise, I have a slew of other options. Late checkout, free movies, free minibar, room service amenities, and more. I will do whatever it takes to deserve the tip, and then a little bit more in the hope that you'll hit me again. And don't be nervous about slipping a tip to the concierge. They are authorized to upgrade for special occasions, and a tip sounds pretty special to us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like mental floss, I'd really like to see those studies in more detail. But I kind of think it's the front desk agent, like the way that a hotel property management system works, it does not communicate with that person who's checking you in or assigning your room. This room has a bigger flat screen. This room has a partial view of the Hudson River. It doesn't get like, so unless you're talking to somebody who is like a housekeeping supervisor who's in and out of the rooms all the time, or somebody who's been at the hotel for a while who really knows the rooms inside and out, like sure, every room does have their own unique characteristics, especially if you're staying at a historic property, because then it's even tenfold. But I think, again, it depends on the property. You're staying at a prototypical Holiday Inn Express. Yeah, I'm sure pretty much all the rooms are the same, for the most part. If you're staying at a box in a urban center, yeah, there's probably some nuances to the rooms. But I think the problem is the person who's checking you in more than likely just doesn't know, because it takes a lot of it actually takes boots on the ground in the rooms to find that stuff out, because the computer won't tell you most of the time. And usually the front desk agents are glued to the desk. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, a lot of my experience with people trying to force themselves into better rooms is, into a suite. It's always been a suite or corner, like at our previous property, our corner rooms were upgraded rooms. They were a different room type in our system.
Right.
So when they sold out all the time because people wanted those rooms, and then they show up on Valentine's Day wanting the room with the big tub and the corner view, and they didn't book it. It's like, well, I physically don't have any more of these rooms. They were booked.
Well, and also like when we're talking about rooms that are like, we're not going from standard to presidential suite. We're just going from, maybe one room type above. Like you could spend $20 to $30 in tips, or you could spend, $20 and just book the room and have and actually have that guaranteed. Like the price difference in the actual room type isn't going to, chances are, even for a suite, sometimes it's not going to be, depending on how many of those suites are available, you're not going to be, it's not like you go from a standard room and then the rate increases $300 to the next room type. And by giving a $20 bill, you're saving all that money. Like, just do a little research, check out the rates, shop, talk to the hotel, see what the best room is, and do that sort of thing. Jeremy, what is up, my friend? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Love you, man. Yeah, next part here.
Number 14. Always request clean linens. We've all seen that news special where they go to a seedy hotel, turn off the lights, keep on some black lights, and then the place lights up like the 4th of July. Well, the good news about this is that hotels often will wash and change the sheets every day. The bad news is that blankets only get washed once a week, and the bedspreads are never washed if there's no visible stains, according to our sources. Just ask the concierge for some new ones when you arrive, then fold up everything that isn't a sheet once you get to the actual room. Place it on a chair and leave it. Hopefully, you won't have to see it again.
I mean, I guess these anonymous sources that they're using, I don't know if you can necessarily assume that the complex housekeeping procedures that every hotel has. But honestly, you're not really, I haven't stayed at a hotel that has, bedspreads or that has throw blankets. What did you say they were called?
Say throw blankets.
Yeah, throw blankets and other decorative things in the room this is the only thing I will say, I think we may have talked about on last week's show, is when you're at a hotel that does the triple sheeting technique for their rooms, which would be, flat sheet, flat sheet, that kind of would be the base that you sleep on, and then flat sheet, duvet, top sheet, and that duvet is kind of sandwiched in between those two sheets. Yeah, it's by design, you're not supposed to touch the duvet by itself because it's sandwiched in between those two sheets. But if it is an issue for you, because that really, it doesn't get cleaned is every day. It just doesn't make sense for laundry purposes. It doesn't make sense for productivity reasons. But you get away with it because it's by design, you're not supposed to actually touch it because it's sandwiched in between those sheets. So I would actually just say, like, if you see that and you feel more comfortable, request another duvet and they can come and make the bed for you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like if you're a hotel and you still have throw blankets, then I think you're beyond help at this point. Especially in 2021.
I do like their advice to fold it nicely and put it on a chair. Like, that's nice. Instead of just throwing it or just throwing it at the attendant when they come to change your sheets, like, yeah, just place it nicely. Like, oh, there you go.
That was a nice added touch for sure. And hopefully you never have to see it again.
Yeah.
Number 15, don't drink from the glasses. It may seem pretty gross, but the hotel secret experts at theposition.com have some horror stories about how the staff treats the glasses in the hotels. They report that, if you're going to use them, clean them yourself, as a favorite ruse among the housekeepers is to wash them in the toilets. In that light, don't leave your toothbrushes out. Your best bet is to not drink from the glassware in the hotel room. Instead, ask for sealed, plastic glasses at the concierge desk or go with bottled water. Also, Mental Floss has a concerning fact about the glasses in the rooms. Sometimes they're washed out with furniture cleaner. Our advice, bring your own water bottle. At least that you can trust.
Another YouTube video by a non-hotel person that is demonizing housekeepers and room attendants, saying that it's just fun for them to clean, to play in the toilet with glasses in the rooms. That doesn't make any sense. Right. Who would want to play in somebody's toilet?
And they don't have time for that.
Right. Like, if you really, really think that this is fun for somebody to go in and take the glasses and just like wash it in the toilet, like, who, like, what the hell, man? That doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
It's just stupid. And then, like, furniture cleaner, like, and this is like supposed to be like, oh yeah, your room attendants, they just love doing this. Like, no, they don't care. They want to clean your room. They want to clean it well for the most part, assuming there's a structure of accountability. And most of the time a lot of room attendants are actually very hospitable and they want to have a nice, clean room for their guests. And if they have a section, I've found in my experience that they take a lot of pride in making sure that their rooms are clean. You're not going to find people. Oh, and then plus it's like, sometimes it's, 15 to 17 minutes for a stay over, 30 to 32 minutes for a checkout for their per occupied room time that's allocated for them for labor. So they're not going to be wasting 5 or 10 minutes splashing around in the toilet with your glasses. The one thing I will say is, yeah, maybe just cover your toothbrushes if you're getting stayover service and you're there for a long time, just because the chemicals that they're using to clean, but that's not their fault necessarily. It's just keep that in mind. If they're using hospital grade disinfectants to clean surfaces in the bathroom, you wouldn't want your toothbrush to kind of absorb those chemicals. At least I wouldn't. And then in terms of the glassware in the room, I think this depends on the hotel's infrastructure. I think most hotels, if there even are still glasses, because now obviously this video is going back pre-COVID, and that's kind of been removed from a lot of rooms. But a lot of times there's a special place like near the service elevator kind of bank where the housekeeping services that has, banquet crates with glasses in them that people can use. and take for replacing them. There's already infrastructure and systems in place to make sure that the housekeeper doesn't need to use furniture cleaner. Also, if anybody works at a hotel that furniture cleaner, because now I'm thinking like Pledge, like Wood Shine, if that is a standard item on your housekeeper's cart, please let me know, because I've never seen that before either.
All right.
Number 16, check the lost and found. This is actually a pretty edgy and rock and roll secret. So if you can't handle that, skip a couple of seconds ahead in the video. Say you forgot your phone charger and you really need to keep that baby alive. What do? Buy another one? Well, not necessarily. If you've got a bad side, just go find the lost and found and tell the people in charge that you lost a charger that would fit your phone. 9 times out of 10, they'll have it and they'll just hand it over. Easy as that. You're a criminal and a deviant now. We hope you know that. You should slow down, Motley Crue. Save some heck raising for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's rock and roll, all right. Yeah, I'd be, I don't want to be that guy that, for all the other hoteliers out there, when you're working and somebody says the other hotel let me do it. I may have done it a couple times to make a guest happy.
I think it depends. Like when we were at O'Hare, our security department handled lost and found, and everything was accounted for, right? They bag it and check it. So if somebody calls asking for an extra charger, they would literally have to go and take somebody's personal items and give it. And so they would refuse to do it. I think we had to end up getting charging stations and stuff just to help out. But I think it just depends. If something, obviously lost and found gets emptied out once in a while, maybe at that point you start keeping extras. But if somebody left something very recently, and they can easily just call for it. So it just has to be processed properly.
Right. I think also, to your point, Greg, if you're working at a hotel, and this is especially going to be in your urban hotels and your large box properties, but if your security department is in charge of lost and found, they ain't giving anybody nothing that doesn't belong to them.
Nope.
Because they really, they run it like a tight ship, as they should. But like I said, I think I've been known to throw guests a bone every now and again with the phone chargers.
I'm pretty sure you've given away my phone charger before and I've never gotten it back. So, yeah. Amazon will ship it right to my door. Thank you. All right,
man.
Going on to the next. This is the final one. I think it's 17.
The last one. Okay. Sorry about your phone charger, Greg.
Number 17, be polite. Honestly, a surefire way to ensure the best experience is to just be nice to everyone around you. This can apply to regular life as well. And so, our list of tricks to do before booking a hotel is complete.
Well, I guess for everybody watching, let us know in the comments what you learned from the list or from this video. I don't know about you, Greg, but I think we need to do some sleuthing on this mental floss and these alternative sources that they're referencing.
Yeah, I want to see what the biggest lies that hotel desks or front desks tell. Like that's very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, we'll have to check that one out without a doubt for sure. But I guess, we're kind of approaching the hour mark here, guys. I just want to say thank you all for everybody who tuned in, who wrote a comment, who engaged. This is our first time doing an actual, show with a program across all 3 platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And it was very, very fun. So we will be doing this every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So please be sure to tune in. We're going to be doing reaction videos, bringing on special guests, talking about all things hospitality, all things hotels. And yeah, it's just fun. It's lighthearted. We're here to just keep everybody entertained. And if you have any ideas for shows, let us know in the comments. Any ideas for topics, let us know. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, questions that need to be answered.
Really, anything that you guys have, like, we're down to talk about it, down to provide our opinions on it. We could always use a little inspiration, so definitely let us know. But thank you guys so much for watching. Keep an eye out for next week's live stream. Keep an eye out for Tuesday's podcast release. And yeah, Hospitality MD, baby.
Stay warm out there.
Yes, stay warm. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.